Welcome to Little Steps, Big Gains and episode 13 of our DIY OT Tools mini series, Cones. In this video, we're going to just talk about different ways to use cones. Now, I know this isn't exactly a DIY OT tool, but you can also use cups as well. And I'm choosing cones because this is one of the most popular pieces of equipment in all sorts of therapy gyms. So grab some cones, and here's a few ideas to get you started. For strength training, do some sit-to-stands or squats where you're putting those cones on either straight on the floor or starting on a step stool. We're sitting or we're squatting to grab those and put them on a different shelf. Maybe you're doing an exercise with it, so you're either sitting or squatting and flipping that cone or stacking that cone. Maybe you're assigning a cone with an exercise, a color, pardon me. So if you reach down and grab that red cone, follow it by a bicep curl. If it's a blue cone, follow that by shoulder external rotation. Green cone, shoulder abduction to add a little bit of memory with the strength training as well. Calf raises are so functional. Go ahead and put that cone between the ankles and go up and down while you're squeezing that cone. Put your patient in quadruped. Quadruped is so good. So what we can do here in quadruped is we can tap the cones, we can stack the cones, we can flip the cones. Finally, for strength, use a TheraBand, thread it through the cone, and use it like a handle. So now we're pressing against that TheraBand resistance. Passing those cones. This could just be statically passing it behind the back. It could be passing it under the leg. It could be passing it under the leg by holding it up. It could be while walking. So we're going to pass while we walk. We're going to pass under the leg while we walk as well. Tapping cones, so great. So your patient is standing or sitting and you're putting those cones out. If you're standing, maybe it's in a clock pattern. So you go ahead and call out different times that we have to mimic. Maybe it's colors. Maybe it's once again assigning a color to an exercise. So we have a weight in one hand and we say red. We tap the cone with the right foot and we have to do a bicep curl. If it's blue, once again, tap the blue. Remember, bicep curl means external rotation or squats in between. Maybe we're tapping the cone and then we're holding up between until you call out the next cone. So good for us. If you're doing tapping with cups instead of cones, it can be great because you don't want your patient to squish, right? And then what you can do with those is you can slide them. So they have their foot on the cup and they have to slide it across the ground, maybe from one point to the next, maybe in a figure 8 pattern. Another great idea. Unsupported sitting at the edge of the mat. We're reaching for cones, we're flipping, we're stacking. Really focus on cross body. Maybe doing some seat belt reaching. So you're behind that patient, you're putting that cone into a seat belt pattern where we're turning, rotating, grabbing, and stacking. Of course, there's retrieving cones around the room, but if you want to add a little spice to it, put numbers or playing cards underneath, and they need to find those cones and transport them in a specific order. So maybe you need to get the cones in 1 through 4, and they go over and they flip the cone and it's a 2. Well, put it down, go and find that 1, then come bring it back. Remember where that 2 was. Or maybe you're matching. You need to find 2 4s, 2 6s, and 2 8s. Make sure you find those matches first and bring them back. Maybe hide something under it. You need to find the cone that has the hidden ping pong ball underneath. Walking laps back and forth, maybe to that practice pantry. Check out that DIY OT tool on the practice pantry. And maybe you're hiding cones inside the pantry, inside laundry. So now we're facilitating something a little bit more functional when we're rummaging through clothes, rummaging through a closet, rummaging through a pantry. And while you're doing laps back and forth, add some dynamic balance. Add some holding up some single leg stance in between. Some forwards walking, obviously, backwards walking. Maybe crossover, which is so functional, sidestepping, walking on the toes, walking on the heels. There is weaving between cones, stepping over cones, or what can be fun is dribbling cones. So what I mean by that is your cone is on the ground and the patient has to kind of slightly kick it. You can't kick it too hard that it falls over, right? And you're just dribbling that around obstacles or a figure 8 pattern. Have your patient restack your cones in a different order. This could be done in standing. Maybe have them only do one hand and there might be 3 cones or so. Maybe we're going to do it while we walk, which is so difficult because you're really manipulating all of those at the same time. You can take a simple cone or once again a cup and pass it between the hands. So what we're going to do now is we're going to step, reach, open. Now pass that cone, step and open. If you have tennis balls, go ahead and put the tennis ball on top of the cone. Maybe go ahead and reach for that tennis ball, all sorts of areas on the ground even. Pass it behind the back or just pass it and then put it on top of that cone. Once you get it on the cone, balance it. Maybe balance it while you're walking, balance it while you're doing squats, balance it while you're pivoting, turning in a circle. And then even just for individuals with tremors, they have to balance it, hold it across, and pour it. If you have 2 cones in a tennis ball, put that tennis ball between the cones and then go ahead and flip it and flip it. And those are just a few ideas to get you started with cones or cups. If you enjoyed this video, please press the like button below, subscribe, share. These are free resources. And if you want to support this channel, there's a link to Patreon below. Now, if you have other ideas that you're doing with cones or you can do with cones, please comment below, share these ideas together. I also have a link to the handout with these ideas below. Check out the other videos in this OT DIY OT Tools mini series for other creative ideas to collaborate and share with others. Check out other free educational videos. I really focus a lot on neurological conditions like Parkinson's or ataxia. If you're looking for home exercise programs free for your patients, maybe outside of your sessions for homework or after they leave your care, I have a bunch of free runs. They're 30-day challenges just to add diversity, but individuals can do them in sitting with TheraBand, with household objects, with brooms, or standing. Once again, all these resources are free. Because as occupational therapists, we are in this together.